This how you move up in the pole. This how you move up in the pole. Yeah. This how you move up in the pole. Yeah. Good play, man. 500. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Let me get one more. Let me get three. Yeah.
I mean, this is an indefensible level of weakness for a grown man. And you can say, well, why does it matter whether a politician is strong or not? Why should I care? I do think that from the age of Greeks and Romans, from which our democratic republic descends, having a strong body and a strong mind have been seen as connected. And so if you are attempting to appeal to young men, then having some ability to talk sports and or just be comfortable inside of a gym is, I think, kind of about signaling to them that you speak their language.
Good morning, Owasso. This is Chad with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. Yeah, that was Zohran Mamdani, the guy who's running for mayor of New York, and yeah, he can't even lift 135 pounds. I struggled with that when I was like a freshman in high school, the first time I had ever lifted weights before. And like that was like my max, like the first time I ever lifted weights as a freshman in high school, which you're like 14, 15 in high school. And yeah, that was the last time I ever struggled with that weight. So very concerning that this guy has never lifted weights before, which means that he's never done anything really that physical in his life. Makes you wonder if he's played any sports, done anything active, and so he's never had to worry about any threats from anybody. It's like, good Lord. He's not a man. It's like this. He is like the symbol of weak men create, that saying of strong men create good times. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. So, yeah, I mean, like, that is embarrassing. I mean, completely embarrassing that Zohran Mamdani can't lift 135 pounds. I don't know how much he weighs, but surely to God, he weighs more than 135 pounds. If you can't even lift the amount of weight that you weigh, that's like embarrassing. Means you can't pick your own body up if you were hanging off a cliff. Like, that's the whole scenario of why I always like to do as much weight as me. Is like, if you're in that Hollywood scenario of you hanging off the edge of a cliff, you could pull yourself back up to safety. It's like, I don't think he could do that. He would be hanging there. He would be that guy that's just like, let me go. Someone save me. Yeah, but that's the thing, is like, you have to be able to pull your own weight. I mean, as someone who's in the military, if somebody can't haul their own equipment and their own weight and their own body weight and equipment, they're a burden on you, because now you're having to spread that load out amongst the rest of the platoon or the company. And you are failing as a soldier at that point. So this guy is clearly somebody who's not willing to defend this country. He can't even defend himself if he can't lift that much weight. It's really embarrassing, especially he's like 30. He's like, I think he's my age. I think he's like 33, 34 years old. That's embarrassing. That really is embarrassing. And the left just touts these people like, oh, he's great. He's so good. What does he need to lift weights for? What does a politician need to lift weights? Like, because you need to be able to defend yourself, to protect yourself. It's so stupid. And all these people are hyping him up like that. If somebody else was failing at that, they'd be clowning on him at this point. But that's really, really embarrassing. Let's see. I have a couple of memes about this too, real quick. Yep, right here. Let's go ahead. Shift this down. There we go. Yeah. Mayoral hopeful Zohran fails to bench press 135 pounds at Men's Day event, and the internet benches him for it, too. It's like, yeah. Very sad. Very sad indeed. One, you know, the guy is literally holding it. 2. He got 2. That's it. And he's so proud of himself. The economic work reality of socialism at work. New York City taxpayers bearing the burden of Zohan's bad ideas if he wins. That's really good. 9th graders in NYC realizing that they can bench press more than the future. Yeah. That's the truth. That's when I started lifting weights, was my freshman year of high school. And that was the last time I was not able to. That is like a warm-up set for me now. So stupid. So stupid. But that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Said Babylon B, crushing it as usual. Help, I need a spotter, cries Mamdani, struggling under 5-pound yoga dumbbells. Oh, man, the internet is lighting this fool up, man. So funny. So funny. And speaking of him, before we move on to our next subject, this is one of his aides, Zohran Mamdani's intern, Arzak Malik calls for holy war through jihad and martyrdom. So that's concerning. Let's check this out.
True believer knows that none of this is in vain, that this is all jihad, that this is all ibadah, and that this is all counted for by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so the conversation of doxing, the conversation of getting arrested and suspended, I think it's time for Muslims to start to say, all right, so what? Do what you want. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, because it's about time to do that. And I know everybody has their own families and has an education and everything. It's just a question. We don't want to get doxxed, and we don't want to get suspended, and we don't want to get arrested. How gangsta are you? That's just my question. How much are you willing to do it? And I know everyone has their own risk levels, but at the end of the day, that's a question to ask ourselves. How committed am I to this? To what extent of my personal material gains am I willing to sacrifice for this bigger noble cause? And subhanAllah, I truly believe that when your heart is in the right place, if you get suspended, if you get doxxed, because it's bound to happen when you're doing a righteous cause and when you're doing something for the sake of Allah here in the West, it will never ever be in vain. And the true believer does not fear that, because the true believer knows that the akhirah is a promise. And the true believer knows that none of this is in vain, that this is all jihad, that this is all ibadah, and that this is all counted for by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so the conversation of doxing, the conversation of getting arrested and suspended.
Stupid. Yeah, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at right now. Is like he's bringing people that are literally calling for jihad and violence against people to be on their campaigns. These are the people that the Democrats and the people on the left bring on their campaigns, and then they're surprised that their messaging and getting out is being violent, is violent rhetoric, and then they claim that it's the right doing this. It's like, it's absolutely insane. If there was a person who was a former member of the Klan or a white supremacist group or anything like that that was on any Republican person's campaign staff, they would be all over it. The news media would be all over it, and they would never live it down. Like, oh, why would you want to vote for them? They had a freaking white supremacist on their staff. It's like, well, it's okay to have a jihad terrorist sympathizer on your staff, apparently. So it's good that it's okay to have communist sympathizers, Antifa sympathizers on your staff. But if you have like a person who is a part of some right-wing organization that the left doesn't like, by God, you'll never live that down. But there's no equivalent for that on the left. There never has been. It's like Jordan Peters talked about this all the time. We know when the right has gone too far. When it goes too far right is when they start talking along the lines of racial and ethnic divisions, whereas the left does not have that. There is no conversation on the left of, hey, we've gone too far. Where is your too far? I mean, I would argue their too far is communism and socialism. But at least at the bare minimum, like calls for violence and people who are actively like campaigning against this nation and campaigning for other nations, open immigration policies at least. Like, I mean, good Lord, but there is not that. These people have had people on their staffs just like that are openly hostile to the United States. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Which brings us to our next story, which is the Brits strike back. And I'm talking about the British people that are fighting back against their government. And like how they doing that? They're raising the St. George flag and the Union Jack flag. So it's like the cross, the England flag, the flag of England, which is like, it looks like the Crusader cross flag, or the St. George flag is what it's called over there. And then the Union Jack, which is their, the UK's flag. So let's talk about that real quick. And here is Fox News' take on it. England flag displays powerful symbol in immigration fight as Trump-style populism sweeps through the UK. England's distinctive red-white St. George cross, the iconic Union Jack, are making a comeback across the United Kingdom. And that's just something I want to touch on real quick. Is like, yeah, people in Europe don't fly their flag. They fly the, what's it called? The EU flag, which is that stupid blue flag with just the yellow stars all around it, like a circle of yellow stars, which is like to symbolize the EU. We're the European Union. Just like, no, fly your country's flag. This is why there is a populist nationalist spin around coming on in the UK right now, and I would argue probably the rest of Europe right now. Is like people are coming around and understanding, like, yeah, I want Europe to be Europe still. I don't want Europe to turn into, little Baghdad or whatever you want to call it. Like they are being overtaken, and people are getting sick of the fact that people are just, this mass open door immigration policy is not something they're voting for. Again, 70 to 80% of the population is against immigration, is against massive open door immigration. Less than 20% is pro, which it's like the upper class, like the upper class elites. Which again, like I have a feeling that it has to do with like if we're on a I keep bringing this up because it comes back to like owning property and being able to buy a home. It's like these people are inflating their property value. If birth rates are at stagnant levels or at a decreased level, home prices would be going down and property prices would be going down. But it's not. That's why they're bringing in multiple people, hundreds of thousands of people into their countries to keep their property values high. That's what's going on right now. That's what is happening, is they're keeping their property values high. Because, again, if we're at stagnation or decline rates right now, we would see a decline in home values, not an increase. It's absolutely insane. That's what it always comes back to. It's politicians protecting their wallets. All right, we'll get back to this. The supporters are calling a resurgence of patriotic, while critics are in the media warn that it is extremism, echoing MAGA-like culture across the pond. Yeah, you mean to tell me that America is rubbing off on the rest of the world? Said people are like, yeah, deport these people who are criminals that are assaulting our neighbors and friends and abusing our children and women. I mean, yeah. Get rid of these people. These people have the governments are giving these people more rights because they're not citizens. Like, oh, we can't try them in our country. They're not a citizen. We can't do anything about it. It's like they don't have the kind of same laws that we do. Like they don't even try people who aren't citizens. Dispute over the flag is the latest symbol of Britain's political disclosure, with the Reform UK and Nigel Farage invoking the U.S. President Donald Trump-style populism to rally Englishmen. Operation Raise the Colors has called for people to put their flags up where they live in their everyday lives to rally Britons. The online movement is encouraging people to continue putting up the English St. George Cross and the Union Jacks. Raise the Colors, wrote MP for Newark, UK. The Shadow Lord Chancellor Robert Jenrick on X, while Britain hating council take down our flags, we raise them up. We must be one country under the Union flag. Tower Hamlets and Birmingham Council recently decided to tear down English flags that they've been hanging up in the streets by patriotic supporters of the movement. The UK has not taken an official stance on Operation Raise the Colors, but Downing Street has commented that putting up the flags. Raise the colors. While Britain hating councils tear down our own flags, we raise them up. We must be one under the Union flag, and they mean the Union Jack, not the European Union flag. But yeah, absolutely crazy. It's like if protesters in other countries are allowed to raise their flags for their days, why is it bad that you're raising yours? Because there is something weird going on that they don't want you to be proud of your nation and your country. There is an attack going on. It's very strange. Well, if you're not allowed to fly the flag of your own country and your nation, but like especially like in our country, but Mexico's allowed to raise theirs, or in their case, like said, Pakistanis and like Indians are allowed to raise their flag, but you're not allowed to raise your flag. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's so stupid. Patriotism will always be an important thing to him, a spokesperson for the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, said. He asked if Keir Starmer was supportive of the people putting up English flags. The spokesperson asked, absolutely. Patriotism and putting up English flags. We put up English flags all around Downing Street every time the English football team, the women's team, men's team are out there trying to win games for us. Yeah, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about why aren't you putting it up year-round? Why aren't you just proud of your flag all the time? Oh, we do it for sports games. We do it for sporting games whenever our team's going out there. Like, okay, why not have it up all the time? It's your country. That's your nation's symbol. Some left-leaning outlets describe the campaign as zealousness, not patriotism. The Guardian cautioned that the campaign may offer cover to far-right agendas. One woman who spoke on the condition of the anomaly of the BBC reporting described how the campaigners marked a crosswalk with red crosses and it looked like the St. George flag as pointless, and it said that it came across as very racist. Flying your own country's flag is racist. This is what we're talking about. This is the left does this here in the United States. People who fly the American flag are just racists. Just like flying our nation's symbol, our nation's flag is racist. Who would have guessed? And this is one thing that I always point out all the time is like, what happens when a nation is taken over by an evil ideology? Like, we'll take World War II. We'll take Germany into account. The Nazi flag was not the German flag. When the Nazis came into power, they put their flag up. The Nazi flag. They didn't put up the German flag. Just remember that. The evil party tries to change the flag. I wonder what groups of people here in our nation constantly try to change the flag. I'd say it's the left. Let's see here with the pride flag, the trans flag, the whatever else flags they've got. They've got the Antifa flag. They're always trying to hang their flags up because they're trying to change the nation. America said the nation that was there, people are always trying to change what they want the nation to be, are going to change the symbol of the nation. So, let's look at history and see what happens to the place that was how they originally were. Like the German flag went back to the German flag after they got rid of the Nazi party. So, crazy. The YouGov poll in June showed the Reform UK Party would be British largest political party if the general elections were held. Farage is a long-standing ally of President and in February held Trump's victory as an inspiration. Historically overshadowed by the Union Jack until the 1990s, the St. George Cross flag is now dominant at sports events. YouGov polling shows that a majority favorable towards the St. George flag, but a sizable minority view it negatively. A high majority show support for the Union Jack, Scotland, St. Andrew's Cross, Wales, the Red Dragon over the St. George Cross. So there's the reason why, is because it's English, and you have to remember there's Welsh, Scottish, the Irish. That's the only reason that the St. George's Cross flag isn't there, because it's an English flag. But you have to remember, it's like the UK has so many subgroups of people within the United Kingdom that they're not all going to agree on which flag should be flown because they all come from technically different little tribes within that nation. Because, again, the Scottish, the Welsh, I mean, you can go through all their little groups there. And then, of course, the Irish, which, the Irish definitely don't like the British. So, but anyway, but that's what there is. And, like, here I have pulled up over here are some of the other articles here that are the more this is fascism type stuff. So here's the Guardian. Flags as a symbol of prejudice, not pride, and distinct from the air of menace. Welcome to England 2025. Look at this tool that wrote this. It was a sun-soaked weekend in the Western country, and all I could think about was the flags all around sated Wiltshire, or the town of Devons. They all flooded from the trees and upstairs windows. The crude versions splayed across the roundabouts. In my adopted hometown of Somerset, meanwhile, the local desperados had vandalized the pedestrian crossings close to the school, which had sparked an online row, partly because they had jettisoned their paint cans down the nearby alley. Good Lord, just listen to this. Listen to this. Let's look at another one. See how this one does. The prevalence of English flag is a ghastly reminder of the National Front. Good Lord, which a National Front is like a white supremacist group. While visiting my partner's mum in Surrey over the weekend, told us about the racism she was experiencing when she first moved in. I could see the few St. George flags on our way to the house, and something clicked into place. It was uneasy that I had felt that the anti-immigration riots in 2024. On the drive home, we saw more flags than I had anticipated. 20 more St. George flags down one street, and one house covered in a bunting of them. It's like, good Lord. This is why the media is not your friends. The media is not your friends. They come at things with a huge left-wing bias. Like your flag, a flag of your nation is a white supremacist or like a hate symbol now. It's like, good Lord, that is your country. These people will go around waving other countries' flags, but they won't wave their own nation's flags. It's sickening. And these people are telling you that you're a bad person for not waving your country's flag. It's really sickening. The BBC, too, like they all have negative takes on all this. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. It is so sickening to see all this. But also, we'll just kind of talk about more memes now because that's pretty much all I've got for that. I just wanted to talk about the fact that the British people are rebelling back against their governments and they want a stop to immigration. Like they are being proud and waving your country's flag is just, if that has any type of stopping to like immigration, that's a good thing because this mass open door immigration is not working out for us. It's not working out for any nation. So we'll get back to that one guy said they have a petition for that guy. I forget his name, but they have over 1 million signatures trying to get his sentence reduced. That guy that killed those that family of 3 for doing that illegal U-turn. So I've got a bunch of memes that are kind of talking about that. So many big trucks out here. It's scary. It's okay. They're all licensed and certified. Then it's a bunch of Indians. Scare! Oh my gosh. So funny. Okay. Oh yeah. This one's good right here.
Muhammad Jihad. Haka Sherpa Sherpa. A Bacala. Oh, Durka Durka Durka.
Anytime you see a truck
Durka,
just on the side of the road, you're just
Muhammad.
going to assume that it's some foreign person that doesn't know how to drive those trucks. But they've got a license. This is what I keep telling you. Is like getting a license from the government doesn't mean crap anymore. Doesn't mean crap. Look at that. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, I love this one. This one's from SKS Cartoons. It's Uncle Sam and the Statue of Liberty driving together, and then it's a truck that says Newsom 2028 that's doing a U-turn. And then it's Gavin Newsom just smile. Yeah, Gavin Newsom is the cause of that, man. Keep telling you, Gavin Newsom's California is the cause of a lot of the rest of the nation's problems. Where is that one? I know I have it in here somewhere. There it is. Like, yeah, Gavin Newsom is like big fat guy on the subway from Seinfeld that's like shirtless. I'm not ashamed of California, the other 49 states. Exactly, that's the problem. You should be. It's so true. It's so true. But get back to the next couple things, like with Washington, D.C. Holy crap, Washington, D.C. has now gone 9 days without a murder, the longest streak in over 20 years. President Trump says he will deploy the National Guard to Chicago next. Do you support Trump's plan? I kind of do. I really do. Because 9 days without a murder in Washington, D.C., that's crazy. I didn't know that it was this bad in D.C. I knew it was bad in D.C., but I didn't know it was that bad. 9 days without a murder is the longest streak in 20 years. Are you freaking kidding me? That is our nation's capital, where people come, where politicians from all over the world come to visit and meet with our president, and it's not safe. It's not safe at all. 9-day murder-free spree? Are you kidding me? 20 years. 20 years, no more than 9 days. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. Washington, D.C. is corrupt, but again, it's a huge blue city. It voted 98%. It has voted 98% liberal since its like inception. So it is not a conservative place. Imagine that. Like, and they keep saying, like, that's the other thing too, is like Gavin Newsom, when he was on the Sean Ryan podcast, went, yeah, the crime in these red states is worse than the blue states, and just like, but then they're forgetting that, okay, they're in the red states, but every single one of those crimes is in a blue city, a heavily blue city. Like I think he even pointed to Missouri. Missouri has been blue for years. Like every major city is blue. It's insane. Democrats are the reason why blue cities don't have crime, because they don't like police. They don't like policing, and they just want to give criminals just a little pat on the wrist and move them on their way. Absolutely insane. Then here is a local fella that sells water and Gatorade to tourists, talking about what he thinks about the National Guard being there. And this is someone who lives there, someone who actually lives there, not some person that's complaining about it on the internet that doesn't live in Washington, D.C. So let's check this out.
You're obviously like a street vendor here. Have you noticed a difference since the National Guard has been federalized? Has it impacted tourism?
Let's see. The Army guys, like them, they're cool. They don't care. They just want violent crimes to come to an end. But like these guys, they've been cool with me. They let me do my thing. They don't really care about the waters. It's not really the waters that's a problem. It's the violent crime that they're for.
And it looks like they've done a great job here because, 9 days now consecutively with no homicides?
Yeah. They've been taking a lot of guns off the streets.
You think as a business here that obviously relies on tourism, do you think that that's going to help tourism? It's going to attract more people in here like that and whatnot?
It's more safe place to come to. National Guard said more people want to come out and have fun. It don't affect me because I'm not a criminal. I have to stay out of the way, come here, sell my waters, and go home.
There you go, doing your thing. Do you think because the local police weren't doing nothing about it, it kind of warranted a federal response, or no?
Say that again?
Do you think because like the local stuff wasn't working out so much, do you think it kind of warranted that federal response?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's kind of like
so, yeah, because before they bought the the National Guards and stuff here. The police wasn't really doing too much of nothing, if I'm being honest. And I live in, I guess you would say, like the ghetto.
The one common thing I keep getting is that once the National Guard showed up, the local police actually started to do their
work. Start actually doing their job. Ain't that crazy? Like you would think they would want to do their job.
You're obviously like a street vendor here.
Yeah. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. The people there on the ground are like, yeah, you can feel the difference here. It's safer. It's definitely safer. And then you have liberals that don't live there commenting about it on the news, being like, it's worse than before. There's no change at all. Like, talk to the people there that live there. The people who live there are more affected by this than you. And then you're just some person on the internet talking about it. And you're just like, no, it's worse than before. The Trump stormtroopers being there has made everything worse. Like, Why don't we talk to the people there? And then here's this, another one from SKS Cartoons. Said, somebody help me. And it's a blue-haired feminist getting robbed. And then the criminal, as he's getting arrested, a National Guardman comes in to, like, arrest the guy. And then the guy's like, you know this makes Trump look good, right? And then she immediately hands them his knife back and her purse. And then the guardsman's like, what are you doing? Hilarious. It's like, but this is true. It's like, if it makes Trump look good, the liberals will be happy not to let this happen. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. See what else we got here. Yes. Protesters in D.C. go crazy over feds arresting a drug dealer. So let's check this out. Where's my volume? Hey. Where's my volume? There we go. It's a video, not a little reel.
Looks like right here they're arresting a homeless man. What's going on right here?
This man is being arrested.
For what did he do?
We're hearing that he was distributing narcotics.
Okay, so they're getting a drug dealer off the street.
I don't want to characterize him. I don't know.
All right, they're arresting this guy.
That is the most liberal answer I have ever heard in my life. Is like said, that guy's like literally, they're arresting this man over here. What are they arresting him for? The guy asked him, distributing narcotics. So then the guy looks at him and goes, so they're getting a drug dealer off the street. And he goes, I wouldn't characterize him like that. What are you talking about? These people are insane. I mean, that is the most liberal stuff I have ever heard in my life. I wouldn't characterize him like that. That is so stupid. That is so stupid. I don't think anything else really happens besides the guy getting arrested and some lady coming and protesting.
Narcotics, so
we'll check the rest of this video
a homeless
out.
man or a drug dealer here on the street. There you have in the bag whatever he was selling. They put it in the bag. So he was indeed selling drugs. Right now we have the FBI, the police, Secret Service. We got about 8 agents out here right now. And there is the bag right there with all the money and the drugs that he was selling on the streets.
After he had been arrested, a protester showed up and went absolutely crazy on law enforcement.
Coward! 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 Cowards! Stay away from homeless people! You fascist bums! Get the fuck out! Nobody
This lady just arrived and she is screaming in the megaphone.
So she shows up later. She has no clue what just happened, but she's just there to protest the police. This is what we're talking about. Is like you show up. This is what we talk about even with like some of the video footage that goes around, like especially like regarding like a bunch of the policing stuff. It's like you'll see some viral footage going around of somebody that films late, or like in this lady's case, shows up late and she's just like, I'm here to protest the police. Or in the case of like police video footage, when someone's cell phone footage comes on, you're seeing the police arresting somebody probably pretty aggressively. We didn't see the inciting event that started the arrest in the first place, which is why, again, I am so pro body cam at this point. It's ridiculous. Not only does it protect the police from people lying about them like this person would right here, it also protects you if you get wrongfully arrested. So there is no issue with body cams anymore. I do not see an issue with it, but I'm not going to watch any more of that. I don't want to hear that screaming broad anymore. That is absolutely insane. Oh, yeah, then there's this guy running for political office, and this is one of his, like, staff members right here. So like I said, so this is what people are sick of. This is why the hoist the colors things and people flying the American flag and anti-immigration policies are so good. Look, check this out. Listen to this.
Shane! Congresswoman at the Shane!
Yeah.
Sidana ka soo wada baxnay! Haddaba Umar waa ka xumahayo. Virginia qaboobaa lagu dhalay. Laakiinse waan adopt gareynay. Sidarna wax badan ma joogine. Shane! Congresswoman!
Not speaking English at all? What is going on? This is the Democratic Party circa 2025. Like, what is going on here? What is going on? This is why the Democrats are losing right here. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And again, this is why Europe is having this hoist the colors protest stuff that's going on now. Check this out.
Where you look, they are just Finns. So it's a bit difficult to blend in here. But I think that's something that is solvable in the near future because more and more immigrants are coming here and it's good for the society. Just Finns and Finns and
Imagine that. You immigrate to Finland and there's Finns everywhere. Imagine you going to any other country that is not predominantly Caucasian or white, and you're going, my God, sick of seeing all these Middle Eastern people here. I wish there weren't as many Middle Eastern people here in the Middle East. It just doesn't make any sense. How stupid. I mean, that is the issue going on right now. That's why Hoist the Colors event protest is happening right now in the UK. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. This is what people are sick of. Absolutely sick of this. Imagine you going to a country, any other country that is not your ethnic majority group, and being like, what's the deal with all these Asians here in China? Kind of sick of it. I wish there was less Asians here in China. So stupid. See what would happen if you did that in any other country. It's so stupid. I cannot believe that we have to have these arguments now. But that's pretty much all I've got for today. I'm going to play us out with a pretty graphic video. It's not graphic, but what happened to this kid is he is an American citizen that I don't know if he was vacationing or if he lives in Germany. But he's living in Germany, and he was trying to protect some ladies that were being harassed by a Middle Eastern guy on a train, and he got stabbed for it. I mean, and it's pretty bad. When you see this kid, he is messed up. But this is Chad with Owasso Live. This was The Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. But that's pretty much all I've got for today, so I will catch you all in the next one. See you later, everybody.
Y'all didn't think that Europe had an immigration problem, especially Germany. Let me drop some knowledge on you.
Okay, I'm going to give you a backstory first. This man is a US citizen. He's 21 years old. He saw 2 German girls getting harassed on a train by 2 Syrian men. He stepped in to help them and they knifed him. Listen to his story.
It is 11:57 right now. In 3 minutes, that man that assaulted that young woman yesterday will be released from custody. He'll be released from custody because he's not a citizen of Germany. He's not a citizen of the EU for that matter. He doesn't even belong in here. He's an immigrant, an illegal one, a drug dealer, and very popularly known here, especially by the police. This is not the first time this has happened. It's not the first time that man had beat up women, and it's not the first time that the other guy decided to take a swing at my face with a 6-inch blade. If they could do this to the people of Germany and then just get released 12 hours later, even less at this point,
shocking.
Where's the law? Where's the structure? If the Germans are held to that law and that structure, but these people could just come in, swing knives, and hurt, abuse, terrorize, and oppress citizens of Germany, then
what a joke Europe is becoming. That's his reward for going up, helping 2 women who were getting harassed, assaulted by 2 Syrian men. He got knifed in the face, and while he's recovering in hospital, those Syrians are released from jail. What a joke of a society we're becoming.
y'all didn't think that Europe had an immigration problem, especially Germany.